I'm so happy to welcome Ella and her mom, Heidi. Thank you so much for coming on. Ella, you have become kind of like famous, TikTok famous, and your video has been showed millions of times. And really the whole story, what happened in New Richmond, which I want you to share, you put a face to what was happening. And that took a lot of courage because parents can get up and they can talk, and they did a great job, and they can be very passionate talking about what their daughters are facing, how they feel when there is a ridiculous policy like the one in New Richmond where biological males are able to use the bathroom of females. But it's when you share your heart and you really put it out there and your experience and how you feel, you personalize this, and it's impossible to ignore. And so normies, regular people, they all of a sudden they have to come to grips with the fact that these policies do exist and they do hurt people. So thank you so much. And thank you, Heidi, for encouraging your daughter and standing by her side. A lot of parents don't do that. So very grateful for all you've done as well. And so Ella, let's have Ella can you tell us, when did you first learn that there was a male using the female bathrooms in your school, in New Richmond High School, in New Richmond, Wisconsin?
I would say like maybe 4 months into first semester, and I was just sitting in science class, and my friend came back and was like, "There's a boy in the girls' bathroom," and I was like, "What?" And apparently, this male student had just started using the women's restroom, but nobody knew about that until us just walking in and seeing it.
Wow. So when your friend said that there's a male in the bathroom, what was going through your head?
Well, I was just surprised mostly because we didn't really see any of that in our high school, so it wasn't like a huge deal at the beginning, but then it started like happening over and over again. Then it was in the freshman locker room, and then there's girls there that were uncomfortable to use the restroom there, and then it happens like a big ball of girls were just all uncomfortable using the restroom, and then we didn't know what to do, obviously, because nobody told their parents right away, because we thought that kind of already knew or implied because of everything that's going on today. Mm-hmm. But then we were just in kind of awe, like, what should we do? What are we going to do? Is he just going to continue using the restroom? And just stuff like that.
So this was a person. This person presented as a male in the school before and was known as a male. And then suddenly when school started up again in the fall, this school year, 2025, 26, then you don't notice at first, but this person starts to use the female space, the female bathroom. Now, you told me before you had a friend, a very good friend, who actually was confronted by this male. When she went in, she saw him, and then what happened?
And then she walked straight out. And that wasn't the first like occurrence. Like there was another one of my friends who walked in and walked straight out, and the student was like, "Are you leaving? Like, stay, like it's fine, it's normal," stuff like that.
Yeah. So yeah, and she felt very uncomfortable because he followed her out. Like, "Why are you leaving?" It's because I'm here. And then now you're a junior, and the school different sections, and upperclassmen are on one end of the school, lowerclassmen on another. And this person is also an upperclassman. But at some point, he starts using the female bathrooms by the freshman class, which is unusual. And now I think the freshman girls take this a lot harder. A lot of the freshman girls stopped going to school. They were very anxious. How did you feel when you learned that he was in the locker rooms of freshman girls, a lot of whom were a lot more afraid and timid?
I felt really bad. I knew there's like nothing I could do by myself, at least. And I know from like being a freshman how hard it is. You're just getting into this new school, you're getting used to everything. And maybe they even thought like, is this normal in high school? Like they wouldn't know either. And they're also underclassmen, so they're just scared to like voice their opinion and stuff.
Yes. Yeah, they're a lot more afraid to voice their opinion, and they're also going to react to any bullying. They're going to have a stronger reaction to it because they're already a little nervous and afraid. This is new for them. They've just come up from middle school. So now, when you did learn of this, and when your mom became aware of this,
I had to go to her.
you had to go to her. So that's how you found out. How did you find out, Heidi?
So I saw at the school board when I believe it was Mary Stuvey got up and was like, "What is going on here?" And I said, "Oh my gosh." So then I went to Ella and I said, "Ella, is this happening?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Why did you not say something to me?" And she said, "Well, because us girls, we just felt like we didn't have a say. The school told us this is happening and this is how it is." And I said, "That is not how it is." I said, "You have a voice, Ella, and you have every right to use it." And the fact that they did this the way they did and kept it from us parents, and their excuse they used was, which I found it, to me, it was kind of ironic and really rich, because they said, "We couldn't tell you parents because of privacy." Well,
Wow.
what about this one's privacy in the bathroom?
Yeah.
You don't care about that? I was kind of like, that makes absolutely no sense. Because the other thing is, we literally, I think it was like a week before that, I got an email. My son, your son had a case of lice in his classroom. You know what? That's a violation of privacy, because I could look at my son and be like, who wasn't in class today? Little Joey Stevens. Well, there it is. There's who's got the lice. It's the same. I can ask her who this kid is that's in the bathroom. She's going to know the answer. And to me, it's almost insulting our intelligence as parents. And to me, it seemed really sneaky and shady. Why you wouldn't, and the way they went about it, these girls should not have had to walk into the bathroom to find out that their space was now being violated by a biological male. That's not okay. That's not how they should have been. They should have never found out that way.
And you should have never found out by attending a school board and hearing a mom say, "Hey, I just heard, I just got a call from another parent that there's a boy in the girls' bathroom, and I confirmed it with my own kid." And you're just attending the school board meeting, and suddenly you're surprised to hear this. You have a daughter in the high school, and you're like, "What?
Wait, what are you talking about? Why would they not address this? This is such a big hot button topic all across the United States. And these girls just don't want a boy in their bathroom.
Yes.
And they're not going to play house.
You want to be made aware of, a policy. And it just, you said that you knew Richmond, Wisconsin is a small rural town. It's very conservative. If you look, voted overwhelmingly for Trump. And in 2024, parents came out to school board meetings and rejected the 2024 Biden Title IX rewrite that added 1,500 pages to a paragraph that simply, very simply, just protects girls. Title IX was created based on a binary that girls would be, they would have the same opportunities as boys in sports, in academics, and that their privacy would be protected, and that's exactly why what the whole thing was about. It's about protecting girls, women and girls.
Right. So, and not just in the bathrooms.
Yes. In this area, they know exactly what they're doing. They know that you did not want your school board to include gender identity in the definition of sex as it pertains to Title IX protections. You made that clear, and they did not adopt those policies. So they already know that a policy like this would be very controversial. And that's why I think that I would guess, in my opinion, that's why they kept it quiet. And then parents found out, and instead of listening to you, instead of thinking that, okay, maybe we made a wrong decision, they doubled down, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, they didn't have a policy. There was no policy in place. Policy, it's the school board that makes the policy. And when you have a 2-hour a school board meeting with 2 hours of public comment, and
Yeah,
I would say
hours.
90% of the comment is us parents saying, listen,
Yeah.
why are we taking our girls, and the solution that you have is to literally displace all the girls so this transgender can use the girls' bathroom. That makes absolutely no sense. And then they said, well, this has been this way forever. Forever? That's a big term. Forever?
Yeah.
Forever?
It's been that way
It's been forever? No, it hasn't.
No,
It
so
hasn't been a problem, is the real answer. This has not been a problem because transgender students have always used the private one-stall bathrooms. That's why this has never been an issue.
well,
But it's never been anything.
because you didn't even know about it.
No.
So you never were able to make it an issue. It
Right.
probably would have been an issue if parents would have known. If you would have known in 2016, you probably would have said, no, if there is a boy that thinks he's a girl, then yes, make some accommodations. But
Right.
that accommodation is not to have him in my daughter's space, because this policy doesn't just pertain to bathrooms. It applies
Yes.
to shower rooms. It applies to locker rooms. It applies to sports and athletic teams.
And that's where we're at with this, Scarlett. That's the real wound that started to open up, is because, first it's the bathrooms, then we get to go into the locker rooms. But Ella has some records right now sitting at that school. And I will tell you, she does pole vaulting. If you ever watched pole vaulting, you will see that the worst boy will out pole vault the best girl by a foot.
It's already happening. A.B. Hernandez is breaking all the female records in California. Right. A biological male, a subpar. He was a subpar athlete as a male, but as a female, pretending to be a female, breaking all of the records. Right now, to this date, it's happening, and it will happen.
And taking the scholarships away. Yes. And it's not happening a lot. That's what I hear a lot. Well, it's so few. It always starts with few. And that's a few becomes a lot. That's the problem. Yes. A few becomes a lot. And which child do we decide gets to lose their accolades? Because I'm not letting her give up her accolades. She works really hard for all these records that she's been trying to set. Yes. I'm not going to let her give that up. So which child do we choose to give up those accolades? It's going to keep growing. And, Leah Thomas is a perfect example.
Yes.
Of what happens when you have a male in sports.
And now Ella, when what were you told? And I can say that we have emails from parents who wrote the administrators when they found out about this policy, and they said, and they wanted to verify, is this true? And could you change it? We don't think this is fair. The administration told parents, this is our policy. We are in compliance with state and federal law, which they are not, and we'll get back to that. And so if your daughter is uncomfortable, then she can use one of the single stall spaces. There are 4 in the school. Your daughter will have to go to the office, ask for a pass, maybe be escorted, and then likely miss some class time and get a tardy pass. So Ella, now you're in the school. You have asked to use the single stall restroom. This is not something that's very comfortable to do. Do you feel singled out? Do you feel describe
somewhat of a scarlet letter?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
With this. It really is.
So I don't want to speak for you, Ella. What is the experience? You are there. And so what does it mean when you can't use your restroom and you have to go through this process?
Well, now it's just losing learning time, because I'm usually upstairs for all of my classes, at least most of them, and the only single stall restrooms are downstairs located by the front of the school. So I hold it in until lunchtime because that's when I'm like closest to the single stall restrooms. But I have asked to use the single stall bathroom once, not at lunchtime during passing time, and I asked for a pass. But the bathrooms are kind of scattered, so it's like there's one on the far end, there's two in the teachers' lounge that they let you use now, and there's one in the office. And either way, you're going to run into people. At lunchtime, I'm just like scared, hoping no teachers are like watching me because I don't want them to view me differently, obviously, as me in the restroom. So I sneak in there, do my business, whatever, get out. But the one in the office, when you're asking for the pass, everyone's in the office, everyone's seeing you, and you never know like how they're gonna view you if you do ask, and it takes a long time. Like if I'm upstairs and I have to walk all the way downstairs, use one of the bathrooms, then go to the office, then get a pass, then go all the way back, you're missing at least 10 minutes of class if you're doing all that work.
Didn't they have to make a map that they put on the back of classroom doors showing girls how to get to the single stall bathrooms? There are hundreds of girls, hundreds. So girls who are uncomfortable, they have to go to the map if they, or maybe they're freshmen and they don't know where they are, and they've got to go find.
I didn't even know where they were.
You didn't even know, and you're a junior. You didn't even know where they
No.
were. All of this, so hundreds of girls are displaced. Hundreds of girls are holding it in, or they're not using the bathroom at all. Hundreds of girls have to go find one of these 4 bathrooms. And you feel intimidated because clearly a lot of these educators have made it very clear their feelings, that they want to be inclusive, that they think you're not being very kind to this boy who thinks he's a girl, and that it has even been admitted, and I have heard this myself. I've heard an administrator speak to one of the students, one of the girls complaining, and listen, they sounded very nice. And in a very nice way, they told this girl, suck it up, basically. Like, yeah. I'm sorry. I know you are uncomfortable. I know this isn't unfair, but isn't it nice to be kind? Isn't that better? Just be kind. And you know what? Our hands are tied. We're in compliance with state and federal law. And frankly, we don't want to break the law. I have heard this. I have heard them say this. They don't want to break the law. They're gaslighting these young girls without parents present, without someone like you, Heidi, to stand up for your daughter, to say, wait a second, you like now, you know, when someone's being gaslit, you know, when they're being manipulated. So there's no parent there. But luckily this girl had recorded the conversation. She was smart enough to record the conversation for her mother. And so this is absolutely unacceptable. And so there's harm there. You are getting harmed. You are missing class time. You are made to feel uncomfortable. Teachers and administrators are making it clear how they feel. And that means you're intimidated because you think differently, you feel differently. Your deeply held religious beliefs tell you something different. Your parents are raising you different. This isn't about any sort of discrimination. This isn't about bullying. This is about that you have a different set of values, a different set of beliefs, and you don't feel comfortable with a boy in your bathroom. And in your opinion, the way you are raised, there are 2 biological sexes, male and female, and while you feel nothing but pity, or you feel nothing but you feel sad that there is a child who feels that they're in the wrong body, but their feelings aren't facts. And you don't have to change what you believe or how you feel or sacrifice your dignity, your privacy, and your well-being so that this man feels better. And I think that sending this message to girls, you need to sacrifice how you feel, your safety, your well-being, because this man, he thinks that he's a woman, and we need to be kind.
Yeah, and it's for Elle. I think her hardest thing is because she is so kind that this just, it makes every day, it's a very uncomfortable situation to go to school. For me as a parent, I'm not as kind. I'm not going to force my daughter to play house. I'm just not. You know, she got done with Barbie dolls a long time ago.
Well, Heidi, how does it make you feel to know that in Westosha, Wisconsin, a similar situation happened? A boy was allowed to use the female bathrooms and the locker rooms. This boy would undress nude and have lotion on his genitalia.
It's not appropriate.
How does that make you and your husband feel knowing that your daughter could be in the same situation?
Right. Well, she wouldn't, because I'd be pulling her out faster than fast. But, you know, this is where the damage this school has done by their shady handling of this, the private, the way that they just kind of hid it in the shadows. There's so much damage now for us parents because you don't trust that they have your child's best interest at heart. And so now you're like, what else are they doing? Is this boy going to enter the locker room? The problem is,
or is there other boys?
Right, right.
I mean, frankly, let's be honest. There could be some bad characters. There could be a boy that's like, hey, this is a great gig. I just have to say I'm a girl, and I can walk right in.
I just found a way to skin the cat and being a big pervert and showing up to the girls' locker room.
Put on some nail polish and say, hey, I identify as a girl, and go, you know, tell the high school, and what can they do? Their hands are tied.
Right. Oh, we have to. But the thing that what boils down to, for at least for I think our family, is we're Christians, so we believe in God. You know, we believe that He made a man and a woman, and that's the way it is. But if that's not a good enough answer for people, okay. Well, we do believe in biology, and there is a biology teacher at that school. And if the school doesn't want to acknowledge true biology, then why do we have these teachers? Imagine how confusing it is for a kid. How do you answer that question? What is a woman? What is a woman? Yes. And I think most of us can answer that question. But those of us that can't are probably those of us that are still sitting in that realm of make-believe. And at the end of the day, thinking you can be something you're not, it's just make-believe. I'm not trying to come off as a horribly mean person, but it's not reality. You can feel that way. Listen, I would love to feel that I'm, you know, a superstar, whatever.
I could think I'm Melania Trump, but they're not going to let me in the White House.
It doesn't make it so. It doesn't make it so.
They're not going to let me walk right there. You know, I could say, hey, I feel like I'm Melania Trump, but that doesn't make me Melania Trump. That just makes me somebody that needs some help.
Well, that's what I would tell you. If you walked around trying to be Melania all day, every day, and that's all you thought about was being Melania, my answer to you is possibly you need to go see a therapist, Scarlett, because you're Scarlett.
And that would be the kind thing to do.
That would be the right thing to do. And that's where it's like, I'm not going to allow my children to be forced into a position where they have to enable situations that it's bad for their health. And you're asking her to enable this situation and kick this can further down the road, when all reality is that this kid probably does need help. And he is probably very sad. And I don't know why he wants to be a girl. I don't know.
Yes.
But at the end of the day,
that's really not your job is to raise your kids, take care of your kids. And your job isn't to try to make everyone else feel better,
right?
And that's not.
But make everybody else feel better at the cost of my sacrifice of myself, and that's where we're at. Is this school has asked the entire student body of girls to sacrifice their own happiness, their own privacy, their own comfortability to make one person happy. And you can pull the trans out of it, pull anything out of it. And let's just get to the bare bones. You are asking an entire student body to make themselves uncomfortable, unhappy, and filled with anxiety to make one student happy. It doesn't make sense. And there could have been an answer. You know,
and Heidi, you were at the school board meeting where was an alternative policy.
Yes. And that's what it did is like, we're like, hey, we get it. You've told all of our girls that they can go use this single stall bathroom, but why are you not telling all of these? Well, why are you not telling this one particular individual that he can use the single stall bathrooms?
Yes.
It doesn't make sense.
And then the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty created a statutory, the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty. These are great lawyers. They have argued for the Supreme Court. They know Wisconsin statute, and they created a policy that was compliant with both federal and state law. And it was a policy that would allow girls to retain their privacy and dignity, and also to any persons that identify as trans or non-binary, that they have access to a space. But the girls get to retain their space, because you know what? See what's happening.
It's just common sense, Scarlett. I mean, it's basic math. We have 100 girls and 1 or 2 people, right? Basic math. Again, let's just wipe all this other stuff out. Why do we have to make it a political thing? It's basic math. We have 100 girls and we've got 50 stalls, and we have 3 other students that don't want to identify as anything other than a girl. Then they get one of the 4 stalls. This is basic math, and we came up with that solution. And it wasn't good enough.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. And so what ends up happening is that the boys have a bathroom, but the girls don't have that same. They're not afforded that same right to have a bathroom.
Let me ask you, Scarlett. I wonder what would happen if the school turned around and looked at the trans girls in the school that have transformed into boys and said, "You're going to have to now use the boys' bathroom, whether you like it or not. If you're going to identify as a boy, then you have to use the boys' bathroom." That wouldn't be fun for them, would it?
No, actually one stood up and talked at the school board meeting and said that they did not want to use the boys' bathroom because they were afraid. Ella, how did that make you feel when you saw that there was a girl who identifies as a boy say, "I don't use the boys' bathroom because of fear"?
Well, it goes both ways. Like, I don't want a boy in my bathroom because I'm afraid. Like, I'm not going to go in the boys. Why should they be able to just come in mine? And it's like one of those things where it's common sense. You just know. A girl uses the girl, a boy uses the boy. It's one of those things.
And everybody else use the other stalls. That was the solution. I mean, it seems reasonable.
It was a good solution, and they rejected it. But there's good news. So something significant happened yesterday. And
Scarlett, can we back one thing up?
Sure. Go ahead.
They didn't just reject it. We also called for an investigation as to why this happened without us parents knowing. And you know what they said about that There's no reason we would ever do an investigation about this. Okay, you just tore the student body in half. And you think you fought for somebody's rights? You just made things worse for these trans students, which nobody wants to see happen. And you also made things worse for the girls.
Yeah.
And you mean to tell me that an investigation into why you all came up with these decisions and why you shot down our agenda that we had proposed to you like that? I mean, I don't even think they read it, to be honest with you.
No, I'm sure they didn't. But that's a very good point. So then you wanted an investigation. You wanted to know how we got there, and they said nope. Surprise, surprise! They are going to deny any investigation of themselves. They pretty got rid of that pretty quick. There's only one school board member that said yes, we should investigate, and the same school board member and
he's got skin in the game. That's the thing.
He's got
Not one of those school board members have skin in the game. If they do, it's a grandchild.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, you're so far removed. Life when you were younger is nowhere near what life is like for these kids nowadays.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so the one younger school board member that has girls said, we should have an investigation. And he was the one that proposed the alternative policy that was shot down. And he was repeatedly rebuked and kind of cast aside. But there is good news. So Ella, yesterday, the Department of Education announced that the Office of Civil Rights has opened a Title IX investigation into the new Richmond school district. So it turns out this district is not in compliance with federal law. And now they are going to get, and this is going to be a very lengthy, difficult investigation. And thankfully, because of parents like yourself and because of the work of Moms for Liberty at St. Croix County and so many other friends and allies and the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty, a lot of that investigation there's been a lot of work done for them, and that's great. So Ella, what did you feel like when you heard the news?
Well, my mom came busting in there and she's like, Elma, oh my gosh, you need to hear this. And she read the whole thing to me. I'm like, no way. And then it was like quoting, it was like one student said she felt fear and stuff. And my mom's like, that's you, like your voice. It was her, it matters. Yeah, it was crazy.
You were quoted in the press release, and what they do is they issue a backgrounder. So I got that. You were quoted as you were cited that there was a girl who testified, a student who said that she was made to feel uncomfortable. She didn't want to use the bathroom. So your voice really mattered and it was heard. It was really important for you to speak out, but I know it had to be really scary. How did you feel like after you spoke out, you received some harassment, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. I received good and bad. Right before my speech, I was literally shaking. I was stuttering. Like I was up there. My hand was like this the whole time. I couldn't.
And she was the first one to speak. Yeah. It was like
the very first one.
Pull my paper up. But afterwards, yeah, there was a lot of like people that were just like, okay, if you're not using the bathroom during the day, then how do you do it on like this time of the month? And I just replied like with my genuine answer, like, this is what I do. Thanks for the question. Like, there's nothing bad about my response. It's just the truth, really. And afterwards I felt like I was just gonna cry because I was really scared. And I was speaking on the side where like all of the people that were for like biological males using the women's restroom, I was speaking on that side. So I heard some like talking as I was saying my speech, and I was like, great, like I have all these people just like talking about me right behind me. But it was really nerve-wracking, but I'm glad that it was heard more than just the people in the school board meeting that were there. And I was just really it ended up being good in that outcome.
Yeah.
Oh, better than good. So great. And you were the very first one, the very first speaker. That had to be, I'm telling you, Ella, there are adults that can't get up and speak.
No.
There were adults that even backed out. There were some that were going to speak, and it's intimidating. It's very intimidating this is your community. This is where you live. These are your neighbors. And now you're saying, you're taking a stance on something that's very controversial. Now, this is more than they say 80-20 issue. I think this is like a 90-10 issue. 90% of sane people, 10% who are crazy. But this issue, I think when people really understand it and they are on our side, and I can tell you those are facts proven, because every year when they do polling on this issue and ask the questions, should biological males be allowed to use the bathrooms, the locker rooms, the shower rooms of females, the answer increasingly, whether Democrat, Republican, it's no. It's a resounding no. The more people learn, the more this insanity continues, the more parents are rejecting it, community members are rejecting it. But there are these bitter clingers. Remember that term? There's these bitter clingers that are just clinging onto their ideology, like your school board. And that's why they have to go. So it's great that we have this policy, but there's something else, Heidi, something very important coming up, isn't there? A way to fast track change.
Yeah, it's and I will say it's been kind of a whirlwind this last month. And, without Moms for Liberty, I don't think we'd be as far as where we're at right now, because I think a lot of us parents knew we are not okay with this. Our daughters are telling us, they're begging us, like, we don't want to live like this. And so we knew that, but we knew we needed to change. We didn't know quite how to get that big ship rolling. And so Mothers for Liberty, I reached out, I think, to Jolene and was just like, hey, just so I'm kind of feeling this way. I heard that, you're, and she's been so helpful, keeping us on track. and getting us where we need to go. But we do realize like this ship isn't stopping, and we have to keep pushing full steam ahead because we're nowhere near where we need to be. You know, one of the things that I'm so proud of Ella for is the fact that when I said at any time, Ella, if this gets overwhelming and you do not want to be doing this, I will pull the plug. As your mother, I will pull the plug and you can walk away and be none the wiser. And her response was, if I don't do this, Mom, what about all the girls that are coming behind me?
Yes.
You know,
Thank you.
And she, you know, her big thing is like, I have to do this, Mom. I have to do this because if I don't stand up now, these girls coming behind me are going to lose their privacy. They're going to lose their accolades and they're going to lose their scholarships because it's just going to get bigger and bigger. And they're just going to keep taking more and more to the point where all of a sudden a biological woman doesn't even exist anymore. The word biological doesn't even exist anymore.
You're
so proud that she was able to do this. But in doing this, and I really do say this, like these kids sparked a movement in us and in us parents going, okay, so there's certain things she can't do, right? Like she can't vote. She's only 16. She can't vote yet. But us parents are like, well, we can't keep voting in the same crap we've had because if you do what you've always done, you're going to get what you've always gotten. And our school scores, like 50% of our proficiency, 50% of our kids aren't even at proficiency. So this isn't just a bathroom issue. This is a complacency issue by adults. We got comfortable, but I'm telling you, we're uncomfortable and we're going to do something about it. And so because of that, we have now got 2 write-ins, 2 adults that are like, listen, we are going to run for school board. We've got Christy, who's already running for school board. Yep. And so Christy Westland is doing a phenomenal job. But now we've got Dom Ventura and Mary Stevie. I always say it wrong.
Stevie.
Yeah.
It's so they have 3. So you have Christy Westland.
Yep.
She is already on the ballot.
Yep. But we have write-ins.
Yeah, she spoke at the school board meeting. She was great. Yeah. And then superstar Mary Stevie, who went viral as well.
Yeah.
With her speech.
That's how I found out about all this. Was through her.
Mama for a biology professor who is now a write-in candidate because she's so upset. And then Dom Ventura, a dad who has a daughter in the school district, and he is a write-in candidate. And they are on fire, and we're
not stopping. We are not stopping.
Yeah.
When these girls started making signs and because I said, Ella, if you want to have a protest, you go ahead. This is yours. You own this. Yeah. This is your feelings. And if you want to protest it, go ahead. So these girls, they were making signs and just watching their energy and their fierceness and I was afraid for her. I don't know why I was so afraid because she wasn't afraid. And she showed me, Mom, don't be afraid because I don't want, at the end of the day, I don't want any of this coming backlashing on her. I don't want her to have to take the brutality that comes from people that when you don't agree, some people can't handle a disagreement and then they just go for the jugular. And I don't want that with her because I can handle a disagreement without going for somebody's jugular. But at this point, she was just like, nope, we're doing this, Mom. And every time I'm like, are you sure you don't want me to pull the plug? Are you scared? I'm scared. Why are you not scared? She's not scared. So guess what? As moms, we all are like, we are stepping up and we're going to take this school board down. It's time for change. Yes. We need new people in there. We need new people in there. And we need people that have skin in the game. Not these old curmudgeons who have no kids in the school district, maybe grandkids, I'm not sure, but or they're falling asleep during the actual school board meetings.
Yes,
One of the last ones. I'm like, what is going on? This is such a bad look for New Richmond. This is embarrassing. And this is what's representing our kids.
Well, I guess
teachers
would rather have somebody who hasn't shown up to a school board meeting in months and another who's falling asleep with the mask on in the middle of the school board meeting.
Yes.
Rather have that because then they have the control. Then these educational elites, these woke elites, they just want the power, the control, the money, and they want to be able to use classrooms as their political theater. Kids become guinea pigs.
Yes.
For experiments. That's what they want. They don't care about the reading. They don't care about math.
No.
They don't care about the well-being of girls. They just care about advancing their agenda. And
Yes.
they are political. They view education and teaching as political. We get accused of that, but that is not the case.
No.
I want schools to be apolitical. I don't want any of that in the school.
I just want education.
Yes.
And I've always said that there's three things that don't belong in a lot of places. It's sex, religion, and politics. Why is the school pushing this? It doesn't belong there. If you leave all that out and these kids get an education, stop worrying about this stuff and worry about the fact that 50% of the students in that school are below grade level for proficiency.
Yes.
That's not good. So it's time. We're going to have change. We
It's
need
time.
the change.
And if those 3 school board candidates win, then there are 4 candidates with common sense, and that's their motto. They common sense candidates that are going to they're going to vote for common sense on this issue, and they are going to focus now on literacy. They're going to return the focus of the school board on education.
Yes.
And they're going to stop with the nonsense. And I think, and you're right, they have skin in the game. These are all parents with children in the school. They really care. They care. And I think it's commendable that they're willing to sacrifice their time in a climate like this to kind of get beat up on social media every day, but they're doing it, and they are the spirit of Moms for Liberty. They're joyful warriors, as are both of you, and I'm so grateful that you could come on and talk about this. But in closing, I want to ask each of you a question. So Ella, if you could say one thing directly, well, you can. You have the opportunity to say one thing to America. What do you want to tell them about policies like this, and what do you hope to see happen from this investigation?
That privacy matters more than policy, obviously, if that wasn't with it. But I would just like to say that a lot of people are uncomfortable and a lot of people are too scared to talk. And it shouldn't have to be that way. We shouldn't have to be scared to talk. But with that, I'm saying, like, if I can help all these girls that were sitting next to me that were like, I'm with you, but I'm like too scared to talk. If I can help just all these girls feel comfortable, have their privacy back. This is a space in the bathroom. Like, it's not just a bathroom. It's not, for women, it's a place to go put on some lip gloss, go touch up your hair, go cry with your friends, like just a little refresh from break. Like, this isn't just a bathroom we're talking about. This is like womanhood, like truly, like this, the bathroom, it's completely different than a male bathroom. And if I could just say one thing, it would just be speaking up for all the girls and, just making sure that our privacy is kept enclosed and there's a policy laid down.
I love that you said that, especially as a teenage girl. The bathroom is womanhood. And I'm telling you, it doesn't change too much as an adult, because we still all go to the bathroom together. Yeah. And we're still like talking and doing our hair and like, oh, how do I look in this? And it's our space. It's more than just a bathroom. It's our space. Yes. It's a place you go when you're feeling sad, a place you go when you just need to kind of hide out for a second. It's yours, kind of a sanctuary sometimes. And it's being invaded. And that's why it feels so personal. It's not just a bathroom. This is your privacy. This is your dignity. This is your space. I just don't want a guy in there. I don't. Yeah. I don't even want to be in the same bathroom with my husband most of the time. So I need my privacy.
I have my own bathroom. Thank you. In my house. I don't share with my husband.
Privacy. I want to do my makeup by myself.
Yes. Yep. Oh, funny.
Yeah, so you get it. So, and Heidi, in closing, what do you hope comes from this investigation?
One thing that I hope comes from all of this, and is that the United States people, parents, I should say, specifically the parents, do not fall into the trap that we did here. We got complacent. We trusted people with our children to make good decisions that were beneficial to all the children, trans, non-trans, doesn't matter. We trusted these people to make decisions, and this is a black and white issue, so there is no gray. So yes, somebody is going to be told no, and I am sorry, But at the end of the day, it's a majority thing, and it should have stayed, and our kids should have been safe. And we all thought that's what was going on with our school district. So what I hope the American people hear from us is that really check into your school board, really check into policy. We had no policy. The policy was no policy. And what does that do? It leaves an open door for interpretation that can go horribly wrong, like it did in this situation. And now you've got just a community up in arms. And that sucks. And you have a trans kid who is now at the center of attention that doesn't need to be. Had there been policy in place and he just used the, privacy stall, none of this would be going on. But it is. And it's because we were complacent as parents. And so, you know what? School board elections matter. If there's anything that I could tell the American public is that's where it starts. That's where it starts.
School board elections matter. And had the school board adopted a policy, like I said, they didn't have a policy, but not having a policy, as Attorney Dan Lennington from
so dangerous,
not having a policy, just because they haven't put it on paper doesn't mean they don't have a policy. Whatever they are doing, that's their policy. And what they were doing is allowing boys into girls' spaces. And they are going to allow boys on the girls' teams. That's their policy. Their policy is the same as the most radical school districts in California, except where you are in a small rural town.
And we're not California.
We're not California. Don't treat us like that. And you're on the border of Minnesota. We are not Minneapolis. We're not Minnesota. There are a lot of people that have moved here.
A lot of people live here for that reason. Yes. We want those homegrown roots. We want that small town atmosphere. We all live here because we like that. Yeah. That's why this county is somewhat conservative, is because of that. We want to raise our kids in a school that focuses on education and drowns out all the bullshit that's going on in the world.
And Heidi, you've got a son in middle school and you don't want tampon machines in your son's bathroom.
No, absolutely not.
Tampon Tim can stay in Minnesota.
Absolutely not.
To miss Minnesota, Wisconsin. That's for sure.
Yep. That can stay over there.
Yeah, we don't need tampon machines and little boys like just so
none of that belongs in school.
Come on. That's again common sense. We're not going to play
common sense and keep your hands. What's that old Pink Floyd song? Teachers, leave our kids alone, man.
Yeah.
Just leave our kids alone. Teach them. That's all we want.
Yes. And the app song for parents are "We're not going to take it anymore."
Yes, we're not. We're not.
Yeah, we're done. We're not going to take it anymore. Well, thank you guys so much. I know you want to go to a basketball game, so it's time. It's time to now have real life, and I have a great night, and I am so looking forward to coming to New Richmond and meeting you all in person very soon. We're gonna have a great time. This was an event planned before this decision announced by the Department of Education, this investigation. Now, before it was just an event, now it's a celebration, because this is really huge, because this first school board meeting that we were discussing was the end of January. We're in early February, early March, and you've been heard. Like we were able with this messaging, with the organization and the hard work and the voices, Ella, your voice, the parents, the work of Moms for Liberty, the work of friends and allies, the work of Libs of TikTok, who reposted us and made things go viral, and a lot of other accounts, a lot of other friends, Tom, Tiffany, local representatives, all that support. This is how you do it. You pull together and you fight back. And when the other side is telling you to sit down, shut up, you say no, I won't. I'm going to keep standing and keep fighting, and that's the lesson that I hope everyone listening can hear. So thank you.
And I can't tell you thank you enough for giving my daughter a platform to use her voice to make a difference. Mothers for Liberty, you guys have really helped get everything out there so people can hear. And we can't thank you enough for that.
It was my pleasure. And I I was like, I will not rest till there is justice. I've heard these stories way too often. And in this situation, because of you, because of the grit and determination, and just how many Zoom conversations, about three a week. You guys were on fire, and I knew there's something special here. It's because I saw they're not going to give up. They're not going to walk away. Yeah. Even when they get teased, even if there's a Facebook group that's formed, this phony, all this AstroTurf, they don't use their real names. And Ella, I'm so glad at your young age you could realize that you know what, I don't care what these people say about me. I'm going to fight because it will serve you well in life. You are going to soar.
That's exactly it too.
You're going to soar because so many people are afraid. It's a gift. It's a gift that you have, that you are able to prioritize what's right over what's uncomfortable. And I hope you continue to inspire so many other girls, not only in New Richmond, not only in Wisconsin, but around the country. So thank you. I'm so proud of you, and I'm so grateful for you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good night, guys. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Unleashed with me, Scarlett Johnson, presented by Moms for Liberty. And today I have a very special guest. She is becoming a social media superstar, Ella from New Richmond, Wisconsin. And she did something that very few teenage girls, especially 16-year-old teenage girls, do. And that is stand up and speak out against this woke insanity, this ideology, which is permeating American education. And it's even reached rural, small towns like New Richmond, Wisconsin. And New Richmond, Wisconsin, I was just there. It's a beautiful town. It's not a place that when you are walking down the streets, you would think, oh, wow, like definitely can see a woke policy in which boys would be in the girls' bathroom. Definitely not the case. But this ideology and its tentacles, it doesn't stop in California, New York, the big cities. It reaches even into small town areas. It reaches into red areas and blue areas alike. And parents in New Richmond were shocked to discover that boys were being allowed to use the girls' bathrooms. Now, I could tell the story, but I think it's much better coming from you, Ella, because you lived it. You're a resident there. You've lived there most of your life, and you attend the high school. You're a junior. So tell us your story and what's happened to you and the other girls in your high school.
So the start of my junior year was fine, whatever. And all of a sudden we're like about 4 months in, and girls have been going into the bathroom and they are seeing a male using our restroom. And we weren't told. We were surprised and we were shocked because, like you said, it is kind of a small town. We never thought this would happen here. And so then with all that going on, we decided to speak up about it. And so at one of my school board meetings, I decided to speak for me and behalf of all the girls that were too scared to speak about how we feel about the males using our restrooms, and that we feel like it's invading our privacy and stuff like that. And we were basically told that our feelings didn't matter, that our privacy doesn't matter, and that the students' privacy mattered more than ours. And then we were told that we had to use the single stall restroom if we felt uncomfortable, instead of the few students that were deciding to use the women's restroom.
Now, Evita, thank you for joining. I'm so glad to have you here, Evita Duffy Alfonso. You are also a resident nearby. You have lived in the 7th District in this area of Wisconsin. You grew up in this area. So how does this make you feel as a little girl? This is exactly the area that you grew up in. Is this the Wisconsin that you remember?
No, and I mean it's shocking that it's happening in New Richmond, Wisconsin, of all places. You kind of laid it out a little bit, Scarlett, but this is a place that voted for President Trump by over 20 points. In 2024, this is a very right-wing district. So the 7th district, New Richmond's part of it. New Richmond's also part of St. Croix County. St. Croix County is very right wing. St. Croix County voted for President Trump. Certainly these people would not support a transgender bathroom policy, and yet that's exactly what their school board has implemented. And might I add, implemented it secretly. And Ella, I'm so glad that we're talking to you today because, Michael and I wrote an article in the Federalist. I kind of helped him edit it a little bit. He had the byline, and it was, the two of us pored over, we were at the school board meeting, and then we re-listened to all of the comments that were made at the initial, the second school board meeting, but it was really the viral moment where there were, hundreds of people in attendance, parents and community members and students calling them out. Ella, your testimony was one of the most powerful ones that we listened to, and it was the one that Michael said, actually, we should quote this one in the article that was published, because you laid out the discomfort that people your age, that the young girls, your friends and yourself are feeling just going to the bathroom, and why it's so important to have this space be private for women and for girls. Can you talk to us just a little bit about like why it is such a discomfort to have a male in this private space?
Yeah, for one, my beliefs, I'm like Christian all the way, and having a male in a woman's restroom, it's male and woman, like you can't change what God gave you. So it's kind of uncomfortable in the sense of that. But then not only that, the bathroom isn't just a bathroom. I said this, it's a place where girls go to cry, go to touch up their makeup, ask their friends if they look good. Like it's more than just a bathroom at the end of the day. And so having the one space that you feel the most comfortable and like is the one space in the school that you can go to, being taken over by somebody that isn't biologically like able to go in that restroom. It was a violation of my privacy and all my friends' privacy. And then being told that they couldn't tell us because the students' privacy mattered more than all the 300 girls in the school. It was just kind of rude in a sense. And I was like, dang, at the school board meeting, hearing all the comments that they had to say.
I like what you say about a girl's bathroom, that it's more than just where you use the bathroom, especially for a teenage girl. It's sort of your space. It's your space when you're feeling overwhelmed, where you comb your hair, you splash water in your face, you put on your lipstick. You just want to sometimes just get away. Girls tend to go to the bathroom together. That's a trait that never ends. Like even in adulthood, you're like, oh, hey, you want to go to the bathroom with me? Because you just, it's sort of communal. And so it's invading your space, like your girl's space. And I don't know, there's something really kind of special and very personal about that. That's do you agree, Evita? Like, just brings back memories of me being in high school and what it was like to be in the girls' bathroom and with my friends, or to go there and cry when the boy I liked was talking to someone else, something like that.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a private space, and Ella, you brought up in your testimony, which I hope we can link to at the bottom of this. I think everybody should actually listen to it. Moms for Liberty has been reposting it all the time, which is awesome. But I hope everybody listens to it, because women are different than men. Like that's actually true. It's a true statement. And we have periods, and you have to go to the bathroom at certain times of the month, more than you would at other occasions. And to just have that space invaded by a male, I know when I was in high school, that would have been unthinkable. Like it's already an awkward time in your life, right? You're in middle school, you're high school, you're figuring out who you are. You want to have privacy in that setting, and they're not allowing it. For frankly a really nonsensical ideology. Ella, I liked that you just brought up, like, it's just male and female, this is what it is. And yet you saw at that school board meeting and at the next school board meeting, which I was also at, male school board members deny that reality. These are people who are in charge of your education, and yet they are promoting this ideology that is completely nonsensical, that men can be women and women can be men. I wonder how you feel about these people being in charge of your education.
I'm scared, needless to say, especially because they're telling us that we can use the single stall restroom and get a pass back to class, which is invading my education time like even more because you're already going out of your way to use the single stall restrooms at the very front of the school. And with that, it's also just a lot, and they're putting kind of a lot of pressure on the students because now you don't know, like, as I'm walking through school, I don't know who's like against me secretly, who likes me. It's just now that I had to speak up kind of for the girls that were too scared to. I'm like scared of what the backlash is going to happen on me as like the teachers, how they view me and stuff like that. And so that's also, I don't know, I'm also scared for my education in that way because I shouldn't have had to speak up about this. It should just be common sense in a way. And yeah.
The adults have failed you in the sense, but I'm going to quickly put up your speech because it's a short speech, but it's very good. So let's.
I'm a junior at Richmond High School. I'm honestly really nervous to be standing here tonight. I never thought I'd have to speak at a school board meeting about something like this. I'm here because I'm scared and I don't know what else to do. When I first found out that a biological boy was using the girls' bathroom, I felt uncomfortable, then I felt anxious, and then embarrassed. And now I mostly just feel fear. That fear is so strong that most days I don't use the bathroom at school anymore. I hold it in all day until I get home. I know that's not healthy. I know it can cause problems like infections, and that scares me too. But I feel like I have no other choice. The office did tell me I could ask for a single stall bathroom pass, but even that is really stressful. I feel nervous walking into the office and asking for it. I feel worried and that people are judging or thinking I'm causing problems. It makes me feel singled out and embarrassed just for wanting privacy. There are also things girls go through physically that boys can't. There are certain times of the month when girls genuinely need to use the bathroom more than often. That is just a part of being female. Having to manage that while also worrying about a boy being in the bathroom is humiliating and stressful in a way that is really hard to explain unless you are a girl. I am 16, I'm a junior, I'm older, and this is still really overwhelming for me. I keep thinking about professional girls in the underclassmen. I've talked to younger girls who are terrified to use the bathroom. Some of them are even getting bullied or made fun of because they feel uncomfortable. That is not fair, and it really hurts to see the school not stepping in to stop that. This is also difficult for me because of my faith. I believe God created man and woman differently and intentionally. I feel like my beliefs don't matter. I'm also an athlete. I love sports. I work really hard, and I worry about what these policies could mean for girls' sports safety in the future. But honestly, the biggest thing I want to say tonight is this. Girls should not have to stand in front of the adults and beg to feel safe at school. That should already be guaranteed.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Kids not put us in situations where we feel scared, embarrassed, or ignored. I'm asking you, please listen to the girls in this district. Please protect our privacy, our safety, and our dignity, because right now, a lot of us feel like we are being forgotten. Thank you.
Wow, that's amazing. And look at how many parents were there that night and their reaction to your speech, which gives me goosebumps. So many things that you said in that speech are true. You should not have to stand before a dais of adults, mostly male. It was all male on the stage because the one female board member is like in a hospital bed for several months and didn't even make a presence and couldn't even understand what was being said. So there you are, a 16-year-old girl standing in front of all these adult males asking basically for your dignity and your privacy, and that you just don't want to be scared anymore, and that you're worried as an athlete, what do these policies mean if this boy decides, I want to try out for the girls volleyball team, I want to try out for the girls track team? Does that mean I'm going to have to, compete with him? Is he going to be in my locker room, my shower area? So I think those are all very real and valid concerns.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to applaud you, Ella, for just like I'm so glad that the video, like you turn around and you see how many people are there. There were a lot of people there. That was a 4-hour meeting and there were hundreds of people there. And there were also people who didn't agree with you in that room either. They were sitting right next to you. You don't know if you were watching on a video, because how do you know who's who, right? In that video, you are standing next to all of the haters. And man, a lot of people who they seem to be school age, so I assume they go to your high school, Ella. And that had to have been, I mean, really nerve wracking. The bravery to in front of your peers who you know are angry and vitriolic over this issue. I want to applaud you for your courage. And I want to ask you, you know, what has been the feedback afterward? I mean, you kind of mentioned there was emotions were high at that meeting. I could tell that there were some students who felt very strongly about this. And you're right, by standing up, you've now singled yourself out. Do you and others feel pressure or backlash for standing up as you have from your classmates or maybe teachers?
I don't think the teachers or students are necessarily saying anything, but you can definitely, they know what my speech was. Like the people that are sitting right next to me, as I was saying the speech, they were mumbling. I could hear them talking, so I knew that they were obviously disagreeing with me. But with that, I feel like my teachers, you can never really know, but I love my teachers, and I hope that they can just love me for my beliefs, and I love them for theirs as well. And then with students, I haven't received like a lot of backlash necessarily. I have received people that don't agree with what I agree with, but that's okay. We're allowed to have our own opinions. It's mostly just adults that are the ones that are the haters, that are commenting rude, awful things. And yeah, it's just mostly the adults.
That's unfortunate. But you, how do you feel after you've stood up, you've spoken up, and even some of your videos that you've put out, they've been reposted by Riley Gaines and really influential people in the conservative movement, and they're cheering you on. How does that make you feel?
I don't know what can explain it. I was really excited to see all of those things, all of the support. And right before I was going to say my speech, I told my mom, like, I am really scared. Because at the time, I was the first speech. I didn't know where everyone was standing, who was going to clap for me or not. And so I didn't know what to expect, but I didn't know this video would just go out everywhere. And then I would be making more videos. And yeah, the support just, I feel really like supported, I guess, in a way. Like people see that what's going on is not right in a world full of people that are so loud in the room saying that what my beliefs are wrong and that I'm wrong. It just is nice to know that there's people that agree with me.
Most of the country agrees with you. Most people agree with you, just so you know. And they have to have the courage to say it and to say it online, say it in person, because it's not fair for you to stand in the gap for so many people and for you not to be elevated and encouraged and supported for doing so.
I think one of the main, ways of keeping somebody like you silent, Ella, especially as a young woman, is they'll say, well, what you're doing isn't nice. What you're doing is exclusive. It makes somebody else feel bad. And women, we're very sensitive to people's emotions. We don't want to make people feel bad. Women are very agreeable. And especially as a young girl, you want to fit in. You don't want to hurt people's feelings. Like, this is a very powerful tool that they have. And so again, I want to applaud you. And I also just want to get your take on the other young women, because you stood up, but you've kind of indicated there are a lot of girls who agree with you, but they did not have the same kind of bravery to get up there and make a statement and put out videos that are being reshared by like Riley Gaines, libs of TikTok. So talk to me a little bit about, I think, what your friends who agree with you are going through at this time.
For them, I think public speaking in general is just really scary. Mm-hmm. But also with that, I think I had some friends that were like in school activities or had a high placement in some school programs and stuff, and they were scared that it would ruin their reputation with that. And so they were too scared to speak out in that way. But I had this one friend who was really, you go, like, you got this. But she was also just too scared to like ruin her spot that was like really high up on the school programs and stuff.
And then I had another group of girls that were just sitting next to me. They're like, "You got this." And I think they were also just scared to speak in front of the school board. And it was very scary. Like afterwards, I felt like I was going to cry. There was a lot of people, and you're young and you're not used to even presenting in front of your whole class in English class. It's not something just normal to speak out at a school board meeting.
I think, Evita, you can understand that super silent supporter type, because I know I get them a lot, and especially like you during COVID, because you were kind of like Ella during COVID, speaking out when no one else was when you were in college. And you get a lot of people that are like silently support you, but they don't, you kind of wish they would publicly support you. Eventually they do. Eventually, because what you're doing is right, they do. But it is not easy to be that first voice and kind of not necessarily a lone voice, but a first voice, a young person speaking out on this. It is rare. And I commend you both for being very strong young women.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say this to you, Ella. Like, I think courage catches fire for sure. And you just need that one person to come out and be like, hey, it's, men are men and women are women. And it's really wrong to have males invade our private spaces. And here's my POV as a young woman. Just that one person going out gives everybody around you courage. Right? Like this, it's like a psychological thing. It gives everybody else permission to also be brave. So to be the first one, and to do it as eloquently as you did. I mean, there's a reason why I was like, oh, Michael and I were like, we have to quote this one in the article. Like this is one of the best testimonies that we've seen. To do that, I think, is extremely, extremely powerful.
And Ella, the reason why I believe there was such fast action by the Department of Justice, the Office of Civil Rights, and if people don't know, we had really great news last week when the Trump administration announced that there was going to be an official Title IX investigation into the New Richmond School District for violations of Title IX because they were allowing boys into the girls' bathroom, that they were allowing boys to have a private space, but they were not allowing girls to have a private space. And it's discrimination. That's not equal. So if you had not spoken out and been so vocal, I don't think this would have happened as fast as it did, because there was at least one person, one teenager that stood up and said, this harmed me. There was actual harm. And that's really important in a legal case and an investigation like this. So I hope more girls follow your lead, because the only way that this is going to end is if the girls and their parents, they have the courage to speak up and to join lawsuits and to file complaints. It's the only way, because there's only so much I can do. There's only so much Evita can do. We can shine a light on the stories, but if the people that are experiencing the harm don't say something, very little can be done.
Yeah.
So
I think that's totally right, Scarlett.
Mhm.
And even just like on a like in the information sphere, I'll get comments from people, well, what do the young girls think? It seems like they don't have a problem with this. Easy. I just click, copy paste Ella's, testimony, and then that shuts them up, right? Like it also is empowering to everybody around you who wants to help, to say, actually, no, we can cite a student who's been harmed. And you can't just say, oh, the kids don't care about this. It's just the parents, or it's just Moms for Liberty, or it's just President. That's actually not true. And you proved it, and you gave us the power of that citation.
Yeah, and just having one person speak up, because if 10 other girls sign on to an anonymous lawsuit, no one will know who they are. There's a case right now that broke out of Oconto Falls where there were 3 brave girls that are coming forward, and they're filing a lawsuit because of years of abuse and grooming in a school. And there's about 20 other plaintiffs that are anonymous that have signed on. But were it not for those few brave that are willing to be the face of this, oftentimes this kind of justice isn't served. So what you're doing is just so huge, because this is also a precedent-setting investigation throughout the country. like this, what's happening to Richmond, it matters all over the country because the Trump administration is finally saying no to the boys in the girls' bathroom. Now, President Trump ran on this. He signed executive orders, but now we're starting to see the legal action and real consequences that will happen to school districts that don't comply.
Ella, you're a junior. You're probably thinking about like what are you going to do when you go to college or afterward. I think a lot of listeners are inspired by you, and I have to imagine they're interested in kind of what you're interested in or what your plans are if you have any.
Yeah, I want to get like a communications degree. I kind of want to be a sportscaster. That's my one thing, or maybe dive into radio, some sort of speaking. I like talking a bunch, and I want to be like the person on the sidelines, like, hey, how was that game? And then ask questions. I know that's something that's just interested me, and I've been doing some internships, like being the voice at the soccer games, like calling in people and stuff like that. That's just I don't know. That's one thing that's really interesting to me. And I guess for college wise, I'm just waiting to see where it takes off because I am in track and I've got a couple messages on like places that want me to go do track there. So I'm just going to see where this season brings me and maybe I'll find a good college that I can play sports at and stuff like that.
Well, so Ella wants to be a sportscaster, and so I think good behavior and bravery and being an awesome person should be rewarded. So in the comments, if you have an internship or an opportunity for Ella to be a sportscaster, you should definitely drop a comment or DM Scarlett. She'll put you in touch.
Yes.
I'm sure if you change your mind and want to go into newscasting, then you should message me, Ella, and we'll figure that out too.
Yeah.
I definitely think you have a future in public speaking. I mean, if you just watch those videos, and this one as well. I mean, you're very well spoken and you just started out. I think the first couple interviews I did, I was probably still stutter and say things wrong and you get nervous. I mean, Scarlett, you've talked about that too.
Oh my gosh. I threw up the first time I was public speaking. I was so scared.
So I think you have, not only are you brave, but you definitely have the talent for this.
And if you want to go into more conservative, we could definitely use a young woman. There's a lot of guys in podcasting and in doing live streams. So we need more like conservative, independent-minded women. And so you would definitely have you have star power. So you would have an audience and you could build something with that and you could continue to stand up and fight for all the things you believe in. So it's definitely something to consider. And you can talk, and I'll help you with that too. Evita. So Evita, are you at all, when you heard about the announcement of the Title IX investigation, how did you feel? Because knowing that you and your mom and a lot of the other moms were so integral to that, how did it make you feel? Because that's a rare win.
Well, Ella, you were at the meeting. Scarlett, you were like live reacting to the entire 4-hour thing. What I felt was extremely vindicated because if you listen to that initial meeting that was 4 hours long where Ella spoke, the primary argument from the New Richmond School Board, other than Ben Engelhard, and then of course the school, the district's lawyer, was that we actually have to violate the privacy of women and put them in danger because otherwise we'll get sued. And it turns out that with the Trump administration investigating and threatening, of course, with that investigation, a lawsuit if they find New Richmond to be guilty, is that the opposite is actually what the district is at risk of. So it felt very vindicating because They were attempting to tell parents and young girls like Ella, we have to do this. Well, our hands are tied. And it actually turns out, no, you're making a political statement. You're taking a political stance right now with this decision to have a transgender bathroom policy. And in reality, the opposite risk exists for you because you are misinterpreting Title IX. Title IX was implemented by Richard Nixon, right? Signed into law by Richard Nixon, who had no idea what the hell gender ideology or nonconformity or whatever you want to call it is. And it was meant to protect women. It was meant to protect women's sports, women's spaces, to ensure equal access. And they have completely eroded that. They've destroyed the meaning of it. And they tried to silence parents who understood that. And now I think there's going to be consequences for what they did. And I'm glad.
Yeah. Yes. And one thing you're going to do upcoming is you're going to be helping out in a parade, right? A St. Patrick's Day parade.
Yeah.
So what are you going to be doing?
Well, I've been getting a group of girls, the same girls that sat next to me during the school board meeting. I'm like, tell everyone, like, let's meet here. Let's leave track early and get there and hand out candy and hand out cards and stuff like that. And it should be really fun. And I'm excited because we've been working with Christy as well. And she's getting a float, her big truck, and signs and stuff. And yeah, it should be a really fun time.
And it's for cards for the 3 school board members that are running against the incumbents. And part of their platform is that if they get elected, they are going to dump this policy and implement a policy that was written by the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty, a group of astute lawyers who wrote a policy that is both compliant with Wisconsin statute and with the federal law. And it would mean that you can go into the girls' bathroom and you do not have to worry that any boys will be there. So you're going to be a part of handing out some candy and some cards. That's great, because that's the kind of like you're doing something.
Can I ask you something, Ella? So the night of the school board meeting, Scarlett saw this coming. I'm not as well versed in all of this. I don't know what's coming as good as Scarlett does, but the board had the opportunity to implement this policy on the night of that viral 4-hour school board meeting. What went through your mind when everybody on the board, except for Ben and I think one other person who ended up even being a coward actually in the long run, voted against this policy and essentially said, we are going to keep the transgender bathroom policy in place, despite all of this overwhelming negative response from the parents, from the community, and of course from young girls like you? What did that make you feel when you saw that decision come down from the school board in person?
Well, I was already using the single stall restroom, and what raced through my mind right away is, how long am I going to have to wait? How long am I going to have to wait until I can use my bathroom again? How many days am I going to be holding my pee in all day until I get home? And it was like almost violating, like I felt like I was going to cry. All the girls were on the edge of our stores, and we're just waiting for them to just put this into place. And they had the opportunity to even just do a temporary one, and they still just shut it down. And it was sad. All the girls next to me, we were all just like, they wouldn't even look at us as they were saying, we're not going to do this. Like, they wouldn't hold eye contact. Like, it's almost, and they also got it emailed to them, and they said that they never received anything and all this bunch of stuff like that. So yeah, it was just mostly, how long am I going to have to wait for this to be put in place?
Yeah. And your parents, your mom thought, how long am I going to have to wait to see results? She didn't think that there would be an investigation until after maybe you graduated. So she was over the moon. I mean, there were some moms that called me crying because they were just so overwhelmed, so grateful that action had been taken rather swiftly. But it happened because of all of you, because of what you did. It made it possible and easier for that type of action to happen, and to happen quickly. I know this investigation won't be quick. It's a long investigation, but it's the start. And frankly, it's going to be very, very expensive for your school district. It'd be much easier for them to just comply. but they seem resistant because there was another school board meeting, right, Evita? That
Yeah,
you,
I have to tell you, Scarlett, that that meeting was honestly like just as frustrating as the first one, because they spent all of this time. First of all, again, they reject like a sound, sane policy for the second time at the second school board meeting, and then they start talking about this idea of like building like a bunch of separate like non-gendered bathrooms, and it's going to cost the district like millions of, I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, this is just like a crazy idea, and it's like, and it's not going to even be. This is not like a short-term thing either. Like, it's going to take years for this to get done and approved, cost all this money, and I'm just like, we don't need this. Like, there's this thing called biological reality, which Ella pointed out at the very beginning of this segment. We don't need to have a bathroom for gender non-conforming people. It's like, just go to the one that is associated with your biological sex. That's all it should be. And I don't know why we're having this conversation. It made me feel so, I guess, disillusioned with the brain power of a school board representing people who are so smart and so good and hardworking and just normal. I don't know. I felt like I was in crazy town.
yes, yeah. They were haughty, they were aloof and arrogant, they were dismissive of their constituents, and then of course they voted to not investigate themselves for keeping a policy secret.
Yeah, that was the best part. We're not going to investigate ourselves.
We decided not to investigate ourselves, like, and now they're getting investigated nonetheless. So, but they could have avoided all of that. This is their choice. This is something that this is a path that they are taking, and it's something that can get off of if there's 3 new candidates. So, do you feel hopeful, Ella? Do you think that there's a lot of people still talking about this? Do you feel hopeful that there could be change as quickly as April 7th, the election?
Yeah, I think so. And we have majority of the town on all of our sides. So I think it should be a successful voting. I mean, I can't vote, but like, if you care about your kids, you will know the choice to choose. You know what I'm saying?
I would say New Richmond adults, if you care about Ella and these girls, get out and vote. If you went and voted for Trump, get out and vote on April 7th or earlier. We try because early voting starts March 24th. Get out and just vote for the school board candidates, and they'll be on the St. Croix County. They're already on the St. Croix County Moms for Liberty Facebook page. So if you don't know who to vote for, because there's 2 write-ins, you can bring your phone in and you just go to that Facebook page, and the names are right there for you. So it's easy.
I'm gonna give Scarlett a heart attack with this question, Ella. But I just have to ask you, did it ever cross your mind? Because it's really brave of you to say, I'm gonna stand up, I'm gonna say what biological reality is, give my testimony, but then also still stay in the New Richmond School District, because it's deeply inconvenient what you're going through and are continuing to go through. Did it ever cross your mind or the minds of your parents to leave? Again, Scarlett does not want you to leave, and Scarlett is going to be mad as the results of that, but has it crossed your mind?
No. I think the fight has gotten so strong. I'm going until it's finished.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. This attitude will serve you so well in life, Ella. I can't even tell you. There's so many challenges that are going to come your way. You're only 16, but if you just continue to have a fighting spirit, you're just going to be so successful and so happy in life. And I'd have to say that even some in your peer group that aren't standing up, I think they'll regret it one day, and you'll have no regrets, because you'll know that when the time came and you were tested, that you did the right thing, that you passed the test, you finished the race, as the Bible said. Like, you were found, you trial by fire, and you're gold. So
yeah,
just very
you
proud.
will be rewarded in your life for being brave, for sure. And sometimes it doesn't always feel like it in the moment.
Yes.
Ultimately.
And God will bless your efforts. And because we're all Christians here, like, you're doing what's right, and God will bless you and your efforts 100%. So I get teary-eyed just like thinking about it. So very special. But that's why I wanted to talk with you, Ella. And I know you had a busy day, school. Hopefully you don't have too much homework.
No, I'm good. I finished it up right before I got on here.
Okay. All right. Well, is there anything else you'd like to say in closing? Anything you'd like the world to know?
Just thank you for supporting me, and thank you, Scarlett. Thank you for talking to me. I I was just telling my mom before this. It's like everyone's saying whatever Moms for Liberty is like a hate group, whatever. I was telling my mom it feels like I just gained a second mom. Like I
Oh,
swear, I'm talking to you every day. We're calling, we're
that's so
texting. Yeah, I've received nothing but love. So I don't know what they're talking about, but thank you for talking to me and thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna like cry. That's so sweet. Yeah, it's been especially like hard day. So thank you for saying that because it's a lot of lies out there because we are successful, because we are trying to empower parents, and this woke zeitgeist wants to keep parents down and quiet and keep you down and quiet. And right, Evita, like your mom, you Evita's got Mama Bear OG, like just always out there fighting. They
I
want
love
us.
the name calling. I love that. Like a hate group. Like what? Scarlett's part of a hate group.
Yeah,
She's leading the Klansmen or something over
yes, the domestic terrorist organization. I mean, just because like we honestly just care about kids and we want them to have the best opportunity in life. We want them to have childhood and childhood innocence, and we don't want them stuck in front of screens in the school. We don't want them to exposed to inappropriate sexual content in school. We want to support teachers too in their free speech rights, and we want teachers to be safe and protected. These are not extreme radical ideas. It's radical to be opposed to these ideas. And it's just a lot. A, the media just doesn't do its job. And that's why we need you in the media, Ella. We need more. We need more people in new media telling the truth. I mean, think about it. Who would even know what's happening in New Richmond were it not for the new media, were it not for me on social media, were it not for Michael and Evita putting an article out in the Federalist, without Libs of TikTok, without our allies. We force this out into the consciousness when they try to keep this in because this is the shame they don't want anyone to see. They know that whether you're Democrat, Republican, you don't want your daughter in a bathroom with a guy unless you are mentally unwell, because there's just no normal person that thinks that that's a good idea.
Couldn't agree more. And I think Scarlett, we should. It's April 7th is the election. We have Christy Westland, and then write-ins Dom Ventura, and then is it Mary Stuvey? Is that how I'm pronouncing her name? Yeah.
Yes.
So if you're in New Richmond, please vote for those three: Christy Westland, Dom Ventura, and Mary Stuvey. Dom,
Yes.
Mary are write-ins.
Yes. And if you question how to write their names, you can contact the Moms for Liberty at St. Croix County. They have a Facebook page, Jolene. You can DM me. You can go to momsforliberty.org. You can try, if you find Evita, DM her, she'll direct you. And but on the Facebook page and the momsforliberty.org, we will have a list of our endorsees for our candidates in Wisconsin and all across the country. So you could go there and you can bring your phone in as you vote and simply just look at your phone and write in the names. It's really easy. It's very easy way to make a change. It's not too much to ask. And bring 10 people with you. Make sure that you're calling 10 people, bring 10 people with you, and get out and vote. That's the way we change. Got to do it. Can't complain if you don't vote. You got to vote. My dad always said that. You got to vote. You got to be involved. Otherwise it's just noise. You got to do something.
And vote for Ella. I mean, Ella, you can't vote. Your friends can't vote.
Yeah.
Obviously upset about this. It is the responsibility of the community members of New Richmond to stand up for you. You don't have the ability to do it on your own yourself at this point. So adults need to step up. And they had that school board meeting. They like you said, they completely rejected you, abandoned you. Now it's time to do what's right as adults in the community.
100%. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys, for coming on. This was a great talk. I really, Evita, thank you so much for joining. And you have such great interviewing skills and younger, and you're from the area. So I really wanted you to come on and have this conversation with Ella.
I was
And
happy to meet Ella. So excited. Keep sending me send me your content, Ella, and I will always repost.
yes. Yes, there's some new content coming out. She's going to be making some more like little videos. She's so good at it. And you had a conversation with Evita's husband, Michael. He was there at our Moms for Liberty forum, and that was great. And he said a few words, and it was amazing. It was a great forum. We got to see The Handmaid's Tale live.
Yeah,
All
right.
the protesters dressed
Right.
in Handmaid's Tale walking around.
Saw the
It's just-
pictures.
oh yeah. There was some interesting people outside. It wasn't nearly as big as they tried to think they were hoping, but it was interesting. Always interesting. But all right. Well, thanks guys for coming on, and have a good day at school tomorrow, Ella.
Thank you.
We'll talk again soon. I'm sure tomorrow.
Thanks, Scarlett. Thanks, Ella.
Bye. Well, was that a fun interview? And we actually were talking backstage, and it was even more fun. So, I love them both. They're both amazing young women. So here is the video that was reposted by Riley Gaines and went mega viral.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I am a junior at Richmond High School. Yesterday, the U.S. Department of Education announced that the Office for Civil Rights is opening a Title IX investigation into my school. And I'm honestly relieved. For months, girls like me have been trying to explain that we're uncomfortable using the bathroom with a biological male, and we were told that our concerns didn't matter. We were told that discomfort isn't a reason to do anything, but it is a reason. Girls deserve privacy, girls deserve dignity, and girls deserve to feel comfortable at school. For me, this situation got stressful because I wouldn't go to the bathroom during the day. I would hold it in until I got home in fear of running into a boy in the girls' bathroom. No girl should have to do that, and I'm thankful someone is finally looking into what's happening here because protecting girls shouldn't be controversial. It should just be common sense.
Perfect. And here's one more.
I just received the best news ever, and to which I want to say thank you to the Trump administration and the U.S. Department of Education and Moms for Liberty. We couldn't have done it without you, and I just want to say thank you for hearing our cries, our pleas, and caring so much about our dignity and privacy. And this is for all the girls that were too scared to share their voice.
How can I add anything to that? Thank you for hearing our cries. So thank you, President Trump. That's how I want to end this. I was a surrogate for President Trump in the state of Wisconsin. I traveled across the state into St. Croix County in 2024. It was difficult, but one of the best, most fun experiences of my life. I was able to basically go around the state with folks that are currently in the cabinet of the Trump administration right now. And I got to experience Wisconsin, my home state, in a way that I'll never forget. And I got to talk to so many people. And my little stump speech was all about protecting our kids and protecting girls, protecting their private spaces, protecting women's sports, and kicking this woke ideology to the curb. And my closing line usually revolved around something like this: make America normal again, make America sane again, make education safe again, and make America great again. And basically the saying that make America normal again, that really resonated. And President Trump was true to his word. One of the biggest applause lines that he would receive, and to this day receives, when he gives a speech, is when he talks about this crazy ideology. Even in his State of the Union, he's just like, these people are crazy. That's what he said. And he's right. It's crazy. It's crazy. Lots of times there are politicians that say things to get elected, and then they do something completely different once elected. Not President Trump. President Trump and Pam Bondi as Attorney General, and Harmeet Dillon as she is the head of the Office of Civil Rights. They have done so much by a lot of presidents, a lot of politicians say one thing to get elected, but then do something else once they are elected. Not President Trump. President Trump has followed through with his word. President Trump is kicking this ideology to the curb, and I am so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for the Department of Education and the Office of Civil Rights, and that they have actually very quickly responded to the cries and the pleas of the girls like Ella, and that they are listening to the parents and that they are following the law. Could not be happier. So thank you. Thank you to all in the Trump administration who made this miracle happen. We are all so grateful for all the work that you do. There are so many people that work in these departments that I don't know, but who had a hand in this. And to you, I say, you have done good work. Thank you. You've done a good thing. And to the folks and the residents who are of voting age in New Richmond, Wisconsin, I say, please vote. Vote for candidates that will end this woke nightmare. Woke for Christy Wayland, Mary Stevie, and Dom Ventura. And we will have more about that in the comments. But as I said, just go to Moms for Liberty, St. Croix County Facebook page, and all the information will be there. Go to momsforliberty.org, moms4, F-O-R, liberty.org for more information about the school board candidates that will be endorsed by Moms for Liberty. And continue, it's always evolving right up until Election Day. And follow me on social media, and that I have a banner for here. Here you can, the Moms for Liberty YouTube. If you like what you're watching, please like and subscribe. Follow us on X at moms4liberty. That's the same for all of our handles. And then again, momsforliberty.org. And then you could follow my X page or DM me. I'm at Scarlett, SCARLETT, 4 kids. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I can't wait to talk to you again real soon. Bye now.
Dear Nike.
Dear Nike.
Dear Nike. Why won't you stand up for me?
Why won't you stand up for me? Why won't you?
Why do you claim to support women and girls? Yet when we need you most,
you remain silent.
Today, males are claiming our identity,
our sports,
our spaces.
Men and boys are stealing opportunities, medals, trophies, and our future.
And it's not fair or just.
In fact, it's often dangerous. Yet you refuse to use your platform to stand up.
You say you're for social justice and progress.
So why do you allow men's rights to come before ours? See, with a big platform
comes an even bigger responsibility.
You have a chance to do the right thing, not just do the easy thing.
So we're asking you, Nike.
So we're asking you, Nike.
So we're asking you, Nike.
As the biggest voice in all of sports.
Will you stand up for me? Will you stand up for me?
Will you stand up for me? Will you stand up for me? Will you?
Will you?
Will you just do it?